Chidambaram's lawyers raise questions on Delhi High Court's order. That's the latest coming in. Sibal's charge is the High Court judge copy-pasted the Enforcement Directorate note. That's the latest breaking news that is coming in. Paul, let me continue. I'm sorry about that interruption.
Absolutely. So, Chetty, this is the line of argument which the Solicitor General is, in fact, saying in court. He says that the CBI case is that the accused as finance minister granted FIPB approval to INX Media. INX Media is owned by Indrani Mukherjee, and the CBI has recorded the statement of Indrani Mukherjee saying that she gave money to Karti Chidambaram. That's the predicate offence. The Enforcement Directorate is probing the money trail. The Solicitor General goes on to say, we filed the note before the High Court, but see what the finding is based upon. Look at the information we have found. He is now, opposing this anticipatory bail plea, which is this interim protection plea, which has been sought by P Chidambaram. He also says there are a large number of petitions pending on the issue of retrospective effect of PMLA in Supreme Court. The High Court judge noted that the gravity of the offence necessitates denial of bail. At a stage which is pre-charge sheet stage, we are limited. Hue and cry being created about vendetta on TV debates. He's also referring to the allegation which Mr. P Chidambaram's legal team, his family, his friends, his party, the Congress party, have been levelling against the central government and the Bharatiya Janata Party, that this is all about political vendetta. This is a political witch hunt which is being carried out against Mr. P Chidambaram and consequently against the Congress party using the agencies in this case. So he's referring to that as well. So here the Solicitor General, Chetty, is obviously trying to defend the Delhi High Court order rejecting the anticipatory bail application of P Chidambaram, saying that it was based on merit, it was based on evidences, and the ED needs to establish the money trail, which it is probing at the moment. As far as the CBI's case is concerned, they have concrete proof and evidences, and also a statement from the approver in this case, Indrani Mukherjee, who was the owner of INX Media. He's also gone on to say,
this is absolutely, if I may put it, a stunning and a sensational charge coming in from the lawyers of P Chidambaram, where Sibal has gone ahead and even told the court that he's gone ahead and challenged that particular High Court order, saying that it was an absolute copy-paste. It's an absolutely sensational charge to put on a lower court of law than the Supreme Court.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of the most serious turns that this case has definitely taken. One of the many dramatic events that we've seen. The Defence Counsel of Mr. P Chidambaram accusing the Delhi High Court of at least insinuating that, they did not take all the arguments on record, that some of these arguments were not part of the hearing as it happened up until the order was reserved in January this year, and then, of course, pronounced just a couple of days ago on Tuesday. He's saying that the Enforcement Directorate, at the time that this matter was being heard, did not file any affidavit, did not file any reply, but they somehow seem to have found mention, and excerpts from all of the ED's notes seem to have found mention in the Delhi High Court order, which had some very scathing remarks against Mr. P Chidambaram, saying that he was the kingpin of the scam, that all of this seems to have been executed under his tutelage and watch. Now, that is something which is extremely serious. They're saying that the Enforcement Directorate's observations and notes have found a mention as evidence in the Delhi High Court's order, but where was this when the court was actually hearing the matter? How is it that I do not get an opportunity to know of this, do not get an opportunity to argue against this? How in the hell will I get bail if this is how it's going to be? And of course, Mr. Singhvi pointing out that the Delhi High Court judge says that, the anticipatory bail plea provision should be done away in the case of economic offences. He almost mocks Delhi High Court order on that, saying this is law. Bail is law. Bail is a provision that's available to everyone.
Yes, and and time and again, Paulami, while we're speaking to the close aides of Mr. Chidambaram as well, time and again they are questioning this particular fact of the Delhi High Court's order that called P Chidambaram a kingpin as well, and going on to say that why was the judgment reserved from 7 months from Jan until August, and Chidambaram, according to them, was never summoned by the agencies during this particular period as well, Polemy.
Oh, absolutely. That is their case. As far as the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, the case against Mr. P Chidambaram, they say, is based on fabricated evidences, lies completely. He has, of course, like you've been telling our viewers, denied any sort of money that was being taken in order to give FIPB clearances at the time that she was finance minister, any sort of, kickbacks being taken, any sort of payoffs being made to him or his son or any other member of his family. He has denied knowledge of any of that. Karti Chidambaram has denied knowledge of any of the offshore accounts that he is being alleged of owning and running, and saying that, and being alleged of, in fact, receiving illegal kickbacks into. He has, of course, gone on to even have denied knowledge of any meeting that he's ever had with Indrani Mukherjee as well, though she claims as a prover in the CBI case that she did have a meeting with Karti Chidambaram.
Just hold on right there, Polemy. I'm being told Munish Pandey is joining us live as well. Let's go straight across to Munish and go back to Polemy after that. As for Polemy is getting us all the live updates coming in from the Supreme Court. Munish Pandey is also joining us now. Munish, the Enforcement Directorate, according to Kapil Sibal, did not file any kind of an affidavit as well. Now, the question really is, does the Enforcement Directorate have solid electronic evidence or email exchanges for that matter, or a root of the financial irregularities of the illicit illegal transfers which are being alleged by the Enforcement Directorate in terms of the shell companies or the family trusts that are being involved and are under scanner?
Yeah, well, the Enforcement Directorate claims, and that is what being argued before the Supreme Court. Remember what Mr. Tushar Mehta is telling the court, that shell companies have been found and there are documents to prove this, and there are 17 accounts which Mr. P Chidambaram and Mr. Karti Chidambaram is associated with. Now they are talking about a broader picture, that the money was being received by Karti Chidambaram through the shell companies, and also ED claims that they have evidence in as far as the shell companies are involved. Also, the Solicitor General have told that we found on further investigation that the person in whose name the shell companies created have executed a will on the name of granddaughter, and the executor of that will is Mr. Karti Chidambaram. In fact, we do have that copy of letter at this point of time, in which Mr. Karti Chidambaram and Mr. P Chidambaram are involved, and that money was gone to the granddaughter of P Chidambaram, and the executor of that will was Mr. Karti Chidambaram. ED claims that the entire circle of that shell companies, which was routed through 17 bank accounts in different countries, and there were Benami properties in multiple countries like France, UK, Malaysia. So these are the charges which are being leveled by Tushar Mehta against Mr. Karti Chidambaram. Based on these evidences, what ED is going to do is oppose the anticipatory bail of Mr. P Chidambaram in ED's case.
So as far as the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, Munish, what have they found out about approximately 10 properties overseas and 17 bank accounts overseas as well? Is that what they are claiming they have been able to lay their hands on?
Yeah, well, Chaitya, if you can allow me a minute, I can read out the ED document which we have, and what is being discussed before the Supreme Court. According to ED document, which Mr. Tushar Mehta is also telling the court, during the investigation, several shell companies of Karti Chidambaram, both incorporated in India and outside India, have been identified in which kickbacks received from illegal favors granted by P Chidambaram were deposited. In one of the shell company, deposits of more than 300 crores have been made. It has been revealed that P Chidambaram and Karti Chidambaram are beneficial owner of the shell company. The shareholder and directors of main shell company have made a will of transferring entire shareholding of shell company to granddaughter of P Chidambaram, and executor of will is Karti Chidambaram. Apart from this, there are immovable properties in countries namely Malaysia, UK, Spain, and there are 24 foreign bank accounts. These are very serious allegations, and remember, based on the very same evidence, the ED was able to convince the High Court that anticipatory bail of Mr. P Chidambaram should be rejected, and the same argument they are giving to the Supreme Court today. Apart from this, there is an email also which is a part of evidence before the Supreme Court today. According to this email, Mr. Karti Chidambaram have marked in it, and this property is in London. Now, ED claims that they have attached the invoices and email at this point of time, and this property, why they believe is of Karti Chidambaram? Because Karti Chidambaram paid money, and the money was paid in cash. So ED believes that if there is a cash transaction involved, there are account transaction involved, and shell companies have been created, it needs to be investigated, and that is why they need custody of P Chidambaram. Back to you.
All right, that's fantastic. Munish getting us all those details right there. Continue to stay with us. Polemy is tracking all the latest developments coming in from the court as well. Polemy, the latest update coming in is that the government lawyer going ahead and saying that the money laundered is of a monumental magnitude, and this is what has been flashing across our screens as well. We're getting you all the very latest updates. How does Kapil Sibal, who's defending Mr. Chidambaram, react to this?
Well, like we've been informing our viewers, Chaiti, the Solicitor General, who is of course representing both the agencies in this case, has in fact gone on to, inform the court that there are at least, I just will go through. There are at least 10 properties and 17 bank accounts in various countries that are linked to Mr. P Chidambaram, and these are shell companies that they have investigated, and there is documentation to in fact prove the same as well. We found on further investigation that the persons whose names the shell companies created have executed a will in the name of the granddaughter of the accused, and we want to confront him with these. So the will is in the name of the granddaughter. The executor is Karti Chidambaram. As far as this case is concerned, these are monies which were transferred from individual companies with individual shareholders that were created. A husband and a wife were the directors of this company, the school teachers, and then of course that money was transferred into these shell companies.
Yes.
So it's a via route. The money trail is being now executed, is being in fact explained by the Enforcement Directorate. And what is interesting over here is that the Solicitor General says that Section 19 PML gives the ED power to arrest, has to be exercised on 2 reasons. I have to give good reasons, have to record those reasons. Now, Justice Bhanumati interjects and asks, he already had the benefit of interim protection in the ED matter and has been interrogated. Singhvi says on behalf of Mr. P Chidambaram, we have had interim protection for 14 months. I've been summoned 3 times and have gone every time. Now, again, what Solicitor General has been pointing out in this case is that Mr. P Chidambaram has been evasive. It's my case, he says, that he's been evasive, he's not answered questions, and unless he's under custodial interrogation, he will remain evasive. A line of argument which is used at
that's the point I would like to get your perspective on, Polemy. You said if he is under custodial interrogation, and that is what the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta must be arguing in the court, that if he's under custodial, if he is under the protective umbrella rather of that particular anticipatory bail, they will not be able to conduct a thorough investigation. But you know, this is a financial trail. This is a money laundering case. This has got finances involved. It's not a straight up murder case where you can influence the witnesses, or if you're not protected, if you can go and tamper with the evidences. The evidences, from what I'm understanding, are all sealed and they are lying with the investigating agencies as well. So how is it that Mr. Chidambaram stands to be at a flight risk when it comes to tampering these evidences?
Well, like in the case of all the other, witnesses or accused who've been, brought forward as far as this investigation goes, including members and secretaries of the Foreign Investment Promotion Board, they need Mr. P Chidambaram, who was the finance minister at that point of time, under whose watch all of this happened. And obviously, according to them, it all stops at his doorstep. Yes, they have been able to bring together some of that money trail, been able to establish some of it, but to be able able to join the dots, to cross T's and dot the I's, they need the finance minister to, of course, maybe corroborate for them whatever they've learned, otherwise through their own investigations, or at least, in a way, confirm what they have. Obviously, what they're saying is that he's remained evasive because he's under interim protection. He constantly enjoys this interim protection, so he knows he can't be arrested, and hence he continues to deflect and subvert the course of justice as per them. But they say that if he's under custodial interrogation, this whole umbrella of protection that he seems to enjoy and thrive on will be removed, and he will realize, and he will probably cooperate with the agencies in the manner that they hope they will be cooperating. Now, this is something, a line of argument which was, countered by Mr. Sibal, by Mr. P Chidambaram's defense counsel yesterday at the Rouse Avenue court as well, saying, how do you define evasive? If I've answered all the questions, if I've given you all the answers, if I've just not answered according to you and as per your satisfaction, is that what you call evasion? Every time you've summoned me, I've come to you. Every time you've asked me any questions, I answered all of those questions. You answered me 12 questions this morning, which is about last morning. You gave me 6 old questions. How are you pursuing this matter in any serious nature when I have been up since 8 a.m. ready to be interrogated and you only start at 11:30 a.m.?
So Tushar Mehta, given all of this, must be pressing even now for that custodial interrogation that he wants, because he perhaps making that particular argument, questioning how this can be probed further unless and until there is some sort of a custodial interrogation done by the Enforcement Directorate.
That's right. Before that, Chetty, let's just bring our viewers up to speed with what the Supreme Court has said, and there is an update over there. Now, the Supreme Court has stated that it is stated in the CBI case the petitioner has been arrested and remanded into CBI custody. The Solicitor General has submitted that since he has been remanded to custody, the SLP number 7525/19 has become infructuous. On the other hand, Counsel for Defence have raised an argument that the petitioner was denied hearing before the order was passed. Now, this was, of course, about his SLP pending in the Supreme Court, and then subsequently he gets arrested and gets sent into CBI police custody for 5 days. Sibal has also informed the court, now this is the Supreme Court saying, has also informed the court that the CBI court order is also under challenge. Now, this again, the Supreme Court has clarified that both SLPs to be heard on Monday. So both SLPs, I'm just waiting for another word in from my colleague Anisha, but this only means, Chetty, that both SLPs will be heard on Monday. Now, this refers to the SLP which was seeking interim protection from arrest in the CBI case. This refers to the SLP which refers to the interim protection directorate case. But we'll wait to get a clarification on that, because the Supreme Court hasn't yet risen. They're still speaking on this matter, but these have been the broad-based arguments which have been put forward. Like we've been discussing, the argument being made is that we need to interrogate the former finance minister in order to draw a connection in all the little dots that we've managed to put together. We need to bring the puzzle together. It's a jigsaw puzzle. We've managed to get our evidences. There's a lot of documentary evidence, but we need the former finance minister to, of course, join the dots.
So there is no immediate protection coming in there from the Enforcement Directorate arrest is what we can safely conclude, and also the fact that the Supreme Court has adjourned this matter until Monday, and the Enforcement Directorate now cannot be arresting P Chidambaram given the fact that he's already in CBI custody. Are these the three main takeaways, Polemy, of what is going on in the Supreme Court right now?
Well, definitely he cannot be arrested over this weekend. His matter, as far as the CBI custody is concerned, comes up on Monday before the Rouse Avenue Special CBI Court. So then, of course, it will be discussed, and it remains to be seen if, the CBI has been able to fruitfully use this time that they had with the former finance minister and gather the material or the evidences or get him on record with whatever they needed him on record with over this period of time. So we will have see if they seek extended custody. Now, if they do not move for extended custody because they seem to think in their own wisdom that 5 days was enough. They wanted 5 days. They did not want 14 days or more than 5 days. They wanted 5 days. So if they do not seek extended custody of the former Finance Minister P Chidambaram, then of course it becomes the Enforcement Directorate's turn to seek custody of Mr. P Chidambaram. Meanwhile, his defense counsel will be seeking bail from the same court as well. They will be seeking bail. Now, Anisha has updated us, Chetty, over here. The Supreme Court grants P Chidambaram interim protection against ED arrest till the next date of hearing. Petitioner to cooperate with investigation. So that is the update that's coming in, Chetty. So the Enforcement Directorate cannot immediately move in. It will all happen simultaneously. The hearing will happen on Monday here in the Supreme Court, challenging his custody, his police custody by the CBI, challenging his arrest by the CBI, challenging the Enforcement Directorate to arrest him as well. He wants interim protection from arrest. So the Enforcement Directorate will not be able to, at least from what I understand, move immediately for custody of Mr. P Chidambaram on Monday itself at the Rouse Avenue Court. Chetty?
So challenging the CBI arrest, all of this will take place on a Monday according to Polemy. Polemy bringing us the latest, and Anisha Mathur also bringing us the latest from what is happening in the Supreme Court. Chidambaram for now has got interim protection from the Enforcement Directorate. Munish Pandey is joining us as well. Munish, now the Enforcement Directorate cannot arrest him as he is in CBI custody. The Supreme Court has adjourned this hearing to Monday. He's gotten interim protection from the Enforcement Directorate. This entire challenge of the CBI arrest is also going to come up on Monday. The point is, Munish, you know, you are well aware and you've been tracking all these financial irregularities as well. The Enforcement Directorate failed to submit an affidavit but are going on to claim that they have all the evidences required of the financial trails, of the financial irregularity, the route as far as the illicit money laundering was concerned.
Yeah, well, Chetty, at this point of time, it is important to point out that what is technical about this order. Remember, Mr. P Chidambaram is already in CBI custody till Monday, and Monday Supreme Court is going to hear this matter. The CBI, application of Mr. Chidambaram's counsel on CBI's arrest and also on the ED's application for custodial interrogation or rejection of the anticipatory bail. Now, till Monday, even if ED wants to arrest Mr. P Chidambaram, they cannot go ahead because he is already in custody.
Yes.
If on Monday the custody of Mr. Chidambaram is not extended by the CBI court, and if we get some sort of relief from the Supreme Court on the interim protection, then only ED cannot arrest him. As far as CBI is concerned, we have been given to understand is that after the custody of Mr. Chidambaram is over on Monday, they will again be going before the CBI court for extension of that custody. And also, we have to wait and watch that what exactly happens on Monday, that whether Mr. P Chidambaram's interim protection from ED's arrest, he is getting any interim protection beyond Monday or not, because till Monday, even if ED wants to arrest him, they cannot, because he is already in custody of Central Bureau of Investigation.
Absolutely, Munish. Polemy Saha also with us. Polemy, so to sum up, and as Munish was rightly pointing out, we have to wait until Monday for that hearing to commence, given the fact that the CBI would now want an extended custody of P Chidambaram in the interim while he is in the CBI custody. The Enforcement Directorate cannot take him in their custody as well. So somewhere he's gotten interim protection from the Enforcement Directorate as well. So all eyes really on Monday, because the Supreme Court has gone ahead and adjourned that matter to Monday, Polemy.
That's right. Now the Supreme Court has granted Mr. P Chidambaram interim protection from arrest by the Enforcement Directorate until the next date of hearing, which is a Monday. The petitioner has to cooperate with the investigation, which is what the Supreme Court has said as well. Both CBI and ED cases will be heard on Monday, and the ED and the CBI will have to file their responses by Monday in the court. Now the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta has raised an objection to this, because if you're going to hear both cases on Monday, like we've been discussing, Jyoti, and we concluded from this that the Enforcement Directorate cannot immediately move in to arrest Mr. P Chidambaram if his plea over here is being heard, because this is the little confusion that happened and which is being used by his defense counsel also in the CBI case, that when my plea was pending over here, how did the CBI arrest me, and then of course the court send me into 5-day police custody when I moved the Apex Court of India. So in that case, now he cannot be arrested immediately by the Enforcement Directorate until the Supreme Court disposes of his plea for interim protection from arrest by the Enforcement Directorate.
All
on
right,
Monday.
Paulamy,